Hi guys, hope you're doing very well. Very warm welcome to everybody, and many congratulations to all those Lahore Qalandars fans wherever you are in the world. I'm sure you've been celebrating this last day or so, and it's been a fantastic achievement once again by the Lahore Qalandars. I think before I come to speaking in detail about the Qalandars and their achievements, I'd like to offer my sincere thanks and congratulations to all the people involved in the Pakistan Super League 10. It was a fantastic effort to organise a tournament, especially after the problems that happened during the tournament. And at one point, it looked like the PSL may not continue. It looked like the PSL may be moved to the UAE. But as I say, many congratulations to all those involved in the organisation of the tournament. Another successful tournament, and long may the tournament continue, and long may it be a successful one. So Lahore Qalandars, here we are then. So 4 finals in 4 years. They've won 3 tournaments and beaten finalists in 2024. Absolutely fantastic achievement. Consistency, good recruitment, and fantastic leadership. That is the owners and the captain as well. So I mean, all round they are the top franchise at the moment. They're almost unbeatable. I think the calm, composed way that the likes of Samin Rana lead the Lahore Qalandars, the way they do their recruitment, the way they look after their players, the way they are so calm and not flustered, the way they are so well organized. It just like breeds a really good relationship between the players and the management. And all the players that you speak with who have played for Lahore Qalandars, who still play for Lahore Qalandars, they speak so highly of the environment. They speak so highly of the culture and the relationship, as I say, between the management and the players. So, it's no surprise that so many players around the world want to play for this franchise, and it's no surprise that they do so well. As I've said, last 4 years they've been in the final all 4 years and won 3 tournaments. Um, you've got to look at their player development program as well. They keep churning out these good, talented young players, and this year it was no different. At first, when I saw this lad Mohammed Naeem, I thought, yeah, well, this kid looks out of place. Why have they dragged him in to the Pakistan Super League? But the longer the tournament went on, the better he looked, the more comfortable he looked in his environment. Those nerves probably at the start of the tournament, and that pressure probably eased when they made him feel that he belonged out there. They gave him an extended run of matches. And they're one of these franchises who, like some of the franchises, they chop and change their emerging players. They chop and change their starting lineup. They keep changing their recruitment policy. They keep changing the batting order. But with Lahore Qalandars, what you'll find is year on year, they have that core, they have that nucleus of reliable, solid, experienced players, and then a few changes here and there, which they have to make, obviously. But you'll find that they are very loyal to those players who play well for them and who fit into the Lahore Qalandars culture, and that's one of the reasons why they do so well. As I say, some of the franchises are chopping and changing their captains, their players, the batting order, the management, and it's a recipe for disaster. And I think the Qalandars philosophy of relying on good, hardworking professionals and being loyal to them is a very successful one. Um, Harris Ralph made the point that yesterday in an interview that it's not just about one player. They don't rely on one or two big names. There's a number of match winners in that squad, and time and again we saw, players showing the rest of the world and the watching public that they can perform. And it wasn't just about one or two players. Match after match, you had different players. Some matches it was Abdullah Shafiq, Sikandar Raza, Shaheen, Haris Rauf, and Naeem, and others who came up with the goods, and even the Sri Lankan guys who they played towards the end of the tournament. Rajapaksa and Pereira. They all performed. Daryl Mitchell. There's so many players that you could name who performed when the team needed it. So they weren't just relying on one, two players, and it's why they are so successful. Um, the recruitment, as I said, is solid. They pick players, the overseas players, they don't pick for one season. If those players are available season after season, we've seen it with David Weiss, the likes of Daryl Mitchell as well. And there's other players like Sikandar Reza and many others who they pick not just for the one season, but for the long haul. They're loyal to them, they stick with them, and those players, because of that loyalty, they repay that faith. And it's a fantastic policy that they have. And it's one that other franchises can probably look at. I think that overseas recruitment um, uh, by the Lahore Qalandars this time around was absolutely fantastic. And it was one of the main reasons why they won PSL 10. And I mean, all teams lost players, and the Lahore Qalandars were hit hard as well. They lost the likes of Daryl Mitchell and Sam Billings and other players as well when the incident happened between India and Pakistan. But most importantly, they lost their head coach, Russell Domingo. So Domingo didn't come back for the latter stages of the Pakistan Super League. So in effect, they didn't really have a head coach. So the likes of Samin Rana, Shaheen Shafidi, etc. They they stepped up and took extra responsibility, leadership roles, and there you go. Maybe there's a lesson there for Pakistan cricket that a successful team without a head coach, maybe that's the way forward. We shall see. And as I say, the recruitment in terms of replacement players as well was fantastic. The likes of this Rajapaksa came in, played really well. Kusal Pereira was brilliant behind the stumps, fantastic with the bat, and the Bangladesh leg spinner Rishad Hussain, consistent throughout the tournament. He came back obviously for the second half of the tournament as well. And they were just absolutely outstanding. It was consistency, reliable performances. And as I said, they weren't just relying on one or two outstanding performers. If you look at some of the other franchises, they were heavily reliant on them, on one or two main players. And if those main players didn't succeed, then they were struggling. And that all-round strength and depth that the Lahore Qalandars had, with the likes of Naeem, the emerging player, Fakhar Zaman, Abdullah Shafiq stepped up at times, and then that middle order powerhouse strength of the likes of Billings, Rajapaksa, Pereira, who I've mentioned, Daryl Mitchell earlier in the tournament, Sikandar Raza, what a fantastic finisher he was, bowled really brilliantly, and then the all-round bowling strength of the likes of, as I said, Rishad Hussain and Sikandar Raza chipping in with some wickets, and Shaheen Shafi, the Harris Ralph, etc. So, there was just no weaknesses in that squad at all. If they lost early wickets, then the middle order came good. If the opening bowlers didn't do well, then the spinners and the backup bowlers performed. And this is how a successful team operates. You don't just rely on one or two players. Absolutely fantastic. I know I've mentioned a number of players, but I think Sikandar Raza deserves some praise. I think most players would have thought, right, okay, I'm comfortable here in Nottingham in my hotel. I'll just chill out for a few days, watch the final on there on the television, and see how it goes. But this guy went from Nottingham to Birmingham to Abu Dhabi to Lahore and made it to the ground 10 minutes before the start of the match. Apparently, he spent 6 or 7 hours in one of the airports as well, waiting for a connecting flight, and travelled economy class and standard travel rather than the business class and the luxurious travel arrangements that many modern day cricketers have. No ego, just jumped on the first flight he could and made it with minutes to spare. And what a fantastic performance it was. Took the key wicket of Riley Russo, brilliant in the field, and there at the end to see Lahore Qalandars home. So, you can only praise the guy for his efforts. And, that's just typical of Sikandar Raza, that whoever he plays for, he performs and gives absolutely everything. Shaheen Shafidi, he's had his critics over the years, and rightly so at times. But I just felt this year he was more mature as captain, more level-headed. He was calm, he was cool, and he was more calculated. We've seen in the past some rushes of blood in terms of his captaincy, rushes of blood in terms of promoting himself in the batting order, rushes of blood in terms of out there in the field, making some strange decisions. But this time around, I thought he was at his best in terms of leadership. And, he was spot on with his captaincy most of the tournament. And he was a standout captain for me. And who knows, maybe the Pakistan Cricket Board will look at perhaps Shaheen Shah Afridi as the skipper for T20Is in future. We shall see. But I thought his captaincy was absolutely brilliant. And as I said, they were the standout team, Lahore Qalandars. They had that strength in depth. They had that cohesion. You could see that they were all fighting for each other. And, they weren't just relying on one or two players, as I said before. The leadership was good. The management was good. They gave absolutely everything in every match. And, they had their ups and downs in the tournament. It's a franchise tournament, and you will have some rough matches, some rough periods in a tournament. But if they lost any matches, they dusted themselves down, moved on to the next match, and there you go. PSL 10 winners for Lahore Qalandars in front of their home fans, and how great was it to see a full Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore. And as I say, fantastic effort from all those involved in Lahore Qalandars, and they're going to be tough to beat in future as well. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.